Welcome to the Blending In podcast, where we chat with innovative educators who are integrating EdTech. I'm your host, Ashley Azarlu, and I'm so glad you're listening in today. As teachers, we don't often get the chance to see the amazing things our colleagues are doing. But by listening today, you'll get an auditory peek into the award-winning exemplar library of Kenia Harding, the librarian from Diamond Valley Middle School, who has been recognized as a Hemet Unified Employee of the Year and who has been a nominee for Riverside County Educator of the Year. Well, I know we've been trying to do this for months now, so I just wanted to say, I'm so happy that you're finally able to do this. I've been wanting to talk to you so long after our tech visit from Riverside County. When they came out and we got to showcase the library at Diamond Valley. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to have Kenia on the podcast.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for inviting me to be part of this podcast today.
Yeah.
I'm really, really excited to be sharing my story with everyone that are listening to us today. I'm so excited to be here.
So, okay, will you tell listeners a little bit of your background, where you're from, and how you came to become a librarian?
What can I tell you about that? Well, I have always had a natural affinity for stories and a love for the reading world, per se. I remember that as a child, I would spend hours in my room, in my living room, immersed in the world of books, exploring the fascinating life of tales of far-off lands and unforgettable characters. My father had a small library. And I think that his love for literature and reading have an impact in my life. And how I became a librarian. I'm married. I have two beautiful sons. My husband was active duty. I became a stay-home mom. And I remember the years when we were transferring from military base to another military base. You will always find myself volunteering in libraries.
Awesome.
Libraries have always been part of my life, even though I didn't realize that until now. They have always been next to me, per se. I remember my husband would get on the way and I would just find myself in the library, volunteer with my kids. And I think that's what it led me to be a librarian, a career and be in a library, because I have a passion for helping people and especially children, Miss Ashley. That's how I think I become a librarian, because I just love helping people and especially children.
Yeah.
And my love for books, per se.
And I saw that, on full display when I worked with you at Diamond Valley. I was an instructional coach there, and you were doing your thing, and you just made the space of the library such a welcoming place for the kids. And I loved what you just shared about your dad and how he kind of had the library in your home, and you can kind of see the history that it traces back to your dad inspiring you and giving you that love for reading. So,
I remember he was the one that introduced me to encyclopedias when I was only, 6 years old when I started reading.
That's funny.
That's what I remember. The first books that I read were encyclopedias.
I remember reading encyclopedias at my grandma's house too, and flipping through and seeing all the pictures of all the different animals and bugs and all kinds of things. I was fascinated by it. So that's hilarious that we have that.
Cooking books, biographies, all kinds of things. Even I remember he will bring the audio books on vinyl, the flat, the vinyl records, or how do you call them?
The vinyl records?
The vinyl records, yeah. He will bring those, the audio books. Yeah. I remember all that.
And you were listening to them too.
Yes, every night after dinner, we'll put a record or read a book with him out loud.
Yeah.
It was one of the good things that he did with us.
I know we were chatting before the recording about you learning English and this being your second language. Do you think that audio and listening to the books, did that help with learning English, or were you listening to the books in Spanish?
I was listening to the books in Spanish, but my dad is the one that came home one day with the whole collection of the Beatles. records
Oh, okay.
and a dictionary, a Spanish and English dictionary, and said, I can see it in you, because I love the Beatles since I have memory. But I didn't know what they were singing to. So
Yeah.
he came with a dictionary and say, you can do it. And just so you know, and the audience knows that I'm self-taught English myself.
Yeah.
Like that.
I am inspired. Inspired. I'm like trying to learn Spanish right now using the Duolingo app, and I'm not making progress like I should be
It is
making.
amazing.
So for you to do that, like in the era of vinyl records, without without this modern day like technology, and be a self-taught, language learner, I'm like, and just so impressed with you.
That's what happened when I was in middle school. Yes.
That's awesome. So, okay, so your dad really inspired you. Thinking about today in the role that you're in, who or what is inspiring to you now?
Of course, my kids.
Mm-hmm.
What it makes me smile when I'm tired, right? They are the ones that make everything possible. But I would say everyone, the good and the bad, the students, my sixth graders, the sixth graders that are just full of energy and ready to get all this knowledge that we are ready to give it to them. I don't know.
I think you mean like they're hungry to learn.
They're hungry to learn.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what it inspired me is the sixth graders, my sixth graders that have that hungry to learn, but mostly my sons. Those are the ones that make everything possible.
Yeah. So you're finding that inspiration from both your kids at home and the kids you serve at school. And I can hear the passion that you have for your students in your voice. And so I'm wondering, in thinking about the students that are coming into that space of a library, these are kids that you may not see every single day like the teachers do, that, they're on like a regular bell schedule with the teachers, but they come into you for projects or to check out books or to be a part of an event that you have going on in there. So how do you blend in opportunities to cultivate your relationships with those students and create that sense of community in the library and at the school site?
By hosting events, we host a lot of events in our library, such as author visits. I have reading challenges. I'm always trying to create a welcoming and inclusive space for all the students. When I think that when we encourage students' participation in the library activities and decision making, it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
When you providing them resources and support for academic success, I know when we also offer opportunities for students to give feedback and suggestions for improving the library experience. I have a collaborative whiteboard that where you can write your wish list of the books that would you like to see on our shelves.
I love that.
You write in there a challenge to your peers, math challenge. We have the math teacher coming once a month and writing an equation, and the students will try to solve it individually or in groups.
Yeah.
And I think that that creates the sense of a community. The challenge is that you belong to something, that you are competing to your peers, but it's a sense of belonging. We try to have different activities at least once a month. Black History Month for February. We have something going on in March. We will have something going on in April. I think the last one we did was the Pi Day.
Oh, yeah.
It was March 14. We did a Starbucks. It's a variety of events that we're trying to put together for the students so they have something to do in a library.
Yeah.
And celebrate.
And I can attest to this, having been there several times. It always feels very welcoming, and the way you set up displays for different events and celebrations throughout the year is inclusive of all, and I just love that so much. And you did mention having students fill out the whiteboard survey to get their opinions about what they want to see and whatnot in the library.
We do have a whiteboard where you put a suggestion to improve the library experience. The students were part of when we were starting our makerspace, we
Mm-hmm.
did like a survey. What would you like to do? What kind of activities would you like to have during lunch?
Yeah.
When you have your lunch, you go eat. Those 15 minutes that you have left, what would you like to see in the library?
Yeah.
So it was inclusive for everyone. Would like to say, oh, I would like to do origami. Why we don't do video games? We have a group of students that said we would like to improve our typing skills, because I think one of the teachers in our classroom was giving me my class of typing. So
Mm-hmm.
we started the nitro type. We created a board. Everyone was like typing fast, and a little card that says who's winning the race. So it's just a matter of putting activities or celebrations that will make their students feel welcome, and that the sense of belonging somewhere.
Yeah, I just love that you're giving them that voice and then the choices that you're offering with them with all of the activities that you offer. And you mentioned makerspace. I know a few years ago when I was there, you were part of the Follett grant and you ended up winning a bunch of money to like make over the library. Was the makerspace like station, I guess, and activities that you set up, was that part of that grant or how did that come about?
Well, the Follett Challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Follett is a corporation that, well, I heard that is the world's largest single source of books and digital content and multimedia for libraries, schools, and retailers. So this company is what most of the school libraries use for their circulation system and to purchase books. So the majority of libraries in the country will use Follett for their circulation system and purchasing books.
Okay.
So the Follett Challenge is a national competition from Follett Corporation, which recognizes the innovation in education. So the participants will completed an online application and submitted like a 3 to 5 minute video.
Mm-hmm.
Um, on this video, you will be outlining how their program had made a positive impact. So all public and private K-12 school districts are eligible to participate in United States, Canada, and Australia were eligible to participate, right? The
Mm-hmm.
submissions were open to all K-12 educators and even parent and teacher organizations, I think.
Okay.
For 1 week, we were encouraging our students to go to their website and vote for this video that it was showing our program, your library program, what you do in Diamond Valley, right? And it was different schools that submitted another video. So it was a 1 week, you go there, you vote, and we won the People's Choice Award, and $8,000 was awarded to DVMS. It was the first time in Southern California that a school won this challenge in like the past, what was it? It was the first time in the past 25 years, I think.
That's awesome.
None at all. Someone say none at all, but I don't know. New York beat us for like, what was it? Maybe 600 votes. And I remember we lost internet connection for 2 days. We
Uh-huh.
were so frustrated because something happened and it was no internet connection one day. The system
Yeah.
was down or something like that. But we were number 8 national.
That's awesome.
So we were so excited how we all came together as a community. We were encouraging the students to vote every day. Everybody was sharing the link, and
Yeah,
it
and then you
good.
did this beautiful makeover of your library. I mean, if you want to give me some pictures, I could post it in the show notes so that other people can see what the library looks like or a video or something. But she's got like
Yes,
exercise bikes that have like spaces for people to put their computers on top of so they can exercise while they're working on their laptop. And
I think that all these changes were meant to just kind of to change the perception of the library. When
yeah,
I came to this library, I remember I loved the setting of this library. I think I shared with you our floor plan.
yeah,
Um, the setup of the library is so open, is an open space, but
mhm,
I think that we as our librarians are constantly changing.
yeah,
So at the time that I get to Diamond Valley, which was maybe 7 years ago, I remember the setting was perfect, but the need of have flexible seating I saw it as we need to change things around here.
Yeah.
I took the card catalog, take it off the wall, and now we have a charging station.
Yeah.
It's like the needs of the students, we are like more, how can I tell?
Yeah, you're more aware of the needs of what the kids needed. I remember it had
all of our students are using Chromebooks now.
Yeah.
So we have the online card catalog.
Uh-huh.
So why are we gonna have these if you need to charge your device? So the way we redesign the library is in a way that the students and the teachers can look at the library as a different place, I would say. They can come to a place that is, there's no judgment here.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome here. You will see on the walls of the library the reflection of what is going on out there in the community. That's part of my goal, like to have a library that everybody feels welcome. You feel that you belong somewhere, there is no judgment. And I believe my primary responsibility is to assist the students in finding the information that they need. So why am I going to have something that is obsolete now, and especially after COVID, because we know what happened, how things change, and what I'm going to have these if I see that the needs of my students are different and they asking me for.
Yeah, you really created such an equitable environment for students and even for parents and teachers coming through. And I know they use that space for staff professional development and training and things like that as well. It's just a beautiful, welcoming, inclusive space, and I love it so much.
Thank you.
I know that every time someone walks into your library, you're on the receiving end of compliments on the space that you've created for students. So I'm actually curious, what's the best compliment that you've ever gotten? Either from a student or from a colleague or administrator, even a parent, like best compliment that you could think of.
The best compliment from a student, I think it would be a student that I helped him with a project. We were doing research. He didn't have access to a printer at home, a color printer at home. And we were done doing the research, and I give him access to all the online databases that we have for part of the district, and he will do his school project, his homework. At the end of what he did, he says something like, I don't think I will ever find a librarian like you, or something like that.
Aww.
That helped me with this, to make this happen. Thank you for helping me with all the materials, not only the printouts in colors, but thank you for pointing me in the right direction to get the information per se. He said it with other words, but I think that's one of the best compliments, because I feel completed that day. I was like, well, at least I did one thing good.
Yeah, I mean, it sticks with you. Yeah, they give you those compliments, and you feel like fulfilled, right? Like you're fulfilling your calling in life.
That is. And from one of my colleagues, I think that when they say, you are the loudest librarian that I have ever met, I was like, what? He said it's supposed to librarians be like shushing and quieting, and you are the loudest librarian I have ever met. I'm like, what?
I mean, I understand that compliment. I think for me, in knowing all of the librarians that I've ever worked with, you exude a passion for your space and for the students who are coming into your space, in a way that is like so glaringly bright and obvious. Like it just, you radiate, you know what I mean? You radiate joy and passion for your kids and for the space that you cultivate for them to make it a place that's inclusive, that's beautiful and pristine, and that is welcoming to all, and where they can get what they're looking for. And they know that they can come to you for support and help, and they don't feel intimidated or shunned, you know, for being in the library or being too loud. Like, you just, the way you are is different than a lot of libraries.
Center of engagement, I call it. Our library is a center of engagement. Everybody's welcome here.
Yes. It's beautiful. Okay, so as we kind of close out our conversation today, what advice would you give to other librarians who maybe might need to be a little more, who might need some encouragement with thinking about things like technology and reimagining their spaces and making the spaces a place where that really meets the 21st century needs of the students? What advice would you give to them about blending in technology into their space?
I think that technology, not I think, we know that technology is always changing. Like it continues to shape the world per se.
Yeah.
So I think that it's important for librarians to embrace the new tools and resources to meet the changing needs of our students or of patrons, right?
Yeah.
So I will advise a librarian that is too shy to raise their voice, to deal with the new technology, to start with the like baby steps.
Yeah.
I think it can be helpful to start with something small, like incorporating like simple technologies, like such as QR codes, maybe a digital display.
That's a great idea.
A digital display, scan on the go. We have here at Diamond Valley one of what is it called, the cow. It's just a bookshelf, COW, cow, class on wheels. I asked the teacher in the class, what are you teaching this semester? I don't know, in the next couple of months. And she said, oh, we learning about China. I'm like, okay. So we come back to the library. I got one of those mobile shelves and I call it class on wheels. So the students will see in the library reflected what they're learning in the classroom.
Oh my gosh.
I put books for, I don't know, China, Chinese calendar, based on what the teacher is teaching.
Yeah.
So I added a QR code that would take you to an ebook online that you can read on your Chromebook. So something simple like that, I will say. It was such a hit for the students because the teacher will be like, go check the cow in the library. There's cows in the library? Yes. So they come in, they check in, they scan the QR code, they check in. It will, you know how it works. It will send you their name to a spreadsheet. And with that, we did a raffle, I think. So they would check out a book that it was on the cow. So that was Miss Luan's cow.
Yeah.
So then Mr. Shelby say, I need another cow for, we're reading the Tears of the Tiger. So I need a cow for Tears of the Tiger. And then I have another teacher say, well, we are reading The Outsiders, so we need a cow for The Outsiders. So if you start with baby steps, like small digital displays, when it's, I don't know, we did for Martin Luther King, we give you a QR code that it will take you to maybe the YouTube video of his speech.
Yeah.
So small steps, like baby steps, begin with just simple technology tools, such as ebooks. You can encourage your students to use a Destiny or circulation system to give a book review, a book recommendation. You can open the settings and give the students the voice and say, this is a book that I recommend.
Yeah.
Small things like that.
Yeah.
Online resources. I don't know, maybe you seek support and training from colleagues and professional organizations. We collaborate with the librarian from Hemet Public Library. We're friends of the library too. So when I don't have the books that a student needs in our library at Diamond Valley, we collaborate with her and she gives us a card where students will have access beyond the school class that was in the school. So it's small things that you can do. She will give you access with a digital access with that card.
Yeah.
So the students will have access to more information that we may not have here. So it's small things that you can do when you collaborate with teachers, the students and the parents to identify the technology needs. You can only open the door to more resources.
Exactly. Yeah.
And we need to stay up to date with the latest technology trends and innovations because it's hard.
Yeah, I technology is my wheelhouse now, and I, even as they call me a specialist, which I don't really feel like a specialist because it's always changing and there's so much of it out there. But if you don't start with something, then you'll never get anywhere. So it's just, like you said, the small little bits and increments you can work in, one thing at a time. And
yes, I'm still learning about 3D printers. I tell you.
Yeah. Same. Like
still learning about that.
Yeah. And with the new AI that's coming out and like all of the possibilities with that, it's going to change so many things. But it's just, being aware and staying present and doing one small thing at a time. I think that's great. Great advice.
Lots of trainings and webinars.
Oh, for sure. Stay up on the PD.
Right.
Yeah. Well, Kenia, I appreciate you so much for coming on and just chatting with me today. You're just so amazing and you're such an inspiration. I'm going to link as many pictures and videos and things that I can.
Thank you so much for today.
Yeah, I'm going to put it on the show notes page so that everybody can see what you've got going on in your amazing library.
Thank you so much for this invite. I really, really appreciate it. I'm so honored to be here chatting with you today. And I know that my sons are listening to this. I want to give them a shout out, Christian and Leah. No, I'm the most proud of you. So if you're listening, Mama,
I love that so much. Thanks, Kenia.
Thanks for listening to the Blending In podcast. I hope you gleaned some inspiration to blend in EdTech and some top-notch transformational techniques into your instruction. You can find show notes and resources from today's episode on our website, blendinginpodcast.com. If you loved what you heard today, leave a review and hit the subscribe button to get notified when new episodes are dropped. Also, follow us on social media and use hashtag blendinginpodcast to add to the conversation. Until next time, don't hesitate to innovate and integrate.